They drive around the towns of northern Mexico in brand new luxury SUVs, heavily armed with military-grade gear and weapons. From fentanyl, meth, and cocaine trafficking to the smuggling of migrants, they control an extensive territory bordering the U.S., posing a continuous threat to national security. Their domain stretches from neighborhoods in Tijuana to the Mexicali Valley bordering California, and from the towns of San Luis and Sonoyta across Arizona, covering 280 miles of the U.S. Mexico border. Known as Los Rusos, or the Russians, they are the wealthiest and most powerful security and operations arm of Ismael El Mayo Zambada, leader of the Sinaloa Cartel. They flaunt their arms, cash, cars, and luxury lifestyle on social media, drawing attention and scrutiny. The dismantling of this group has become a primary objective for the FBI and the DEA, while the Chapitos face the challenge to defeat them on the battleground to recover some of the territories they've lost. In this episode of Illicit Investigations, we reveal the true power of Los Rusos, the most brutal faction of the Sinaloa Cartel, their involvement in fentanyl trafficking to the U.S., their ongoing battles with rival cartels, and why Ismael El Mayo Zambada places unwavering trust in his main lieutenant, Juan Jose Ponce Felix, also known as El Ruso, the leader of this ruthless squad. Stay tuned. They are not from Russia, nor have any relationship with that country. They are called Los Rusos because their leader, Juan Jose Ponce Felix, a hitman born in the state of Sonora, was nicknamed El Ruso, or the Russian, since his teenage years. He was among the young sicarios trained by the fearless Gonzalo Inzunza, also known as El Macho Prieto, a high-ranking leader of the Sinaloa Cartel, close to Ismael El Mayo Zambada, who was taken down by the Mexican Marines in December 2013 in Puerto Peñasco, Sonora. El Macho Prieto trusted El Ruso because he was intelligent and very agile with weapons. He was well acquainted with the towns along the corridor between Sinaloa and Sonora, up to the U.S. border. People respected him. At a young age, he supervised the transportation of large drug shipments from Mazatlan and Culiacan in Sinaloa to border towns like Nogales in Sonoyta and San Luis Rio Colorado. He was also in charge of managing stash houses for El Macho Prieto. During those years, he became close friends with Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa, aka El Chino Antrax, who led the bloodthirsty group of Los Antrax, tasked with protecting the Zambada family and their drug operations. December of 2013 marked a historical point for the Sinaloa Cartel, with two significant losses. First, the death of El Macho Prieto, and weeks later, the detention of El Chino Antrax at Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport by the DEA, Interpol, and the Netherlands police. Following these events, El Mayo Zambada called El Ruso to a private meeting at a ranch in El Alamo in Sinaloa. He offered him Rodrigo's position, whom he considered like a son. Hence, since January 2014, El Ruso became the leader of Los Antrax with the support of other remarkable hitmen such as El Sarento Phoenix and El Traca Antrax. El Mayo developed a very close relationship with El Ruso for his ruthlessness, coupled with loyalty, efficiency, and a good sense of humor. El Ruso provided security for drug shipments originating from Sinaloa to Baja California and Sonora, and was in charge of over 100 stash houses across Mexico, according to Mexican intelligence reports. These videos show El Ruso during those years, practicing his shooting skills at a ranch near Culiacan. El Ruso also developed a close friendship with Juan Carlos Felix Gastelum, aka El Chavo Felix, the son-in-law of El Mayo, who is married to Teresita Zambada Ortiz. El Mayo trusted El Ruso with large amounts of cash, turning him into a major money launderer. He and his family started opening money exchange businesses in Sinaloa, Sonora, and Baja California. Together with El Chavo Felix, they created transportation companies to launder money in Sinaloa and turned Mexicali into their party spot to hire Mexican music bands and bring escorts from California. In several confrontations with rival cartels, El Ruso earned respect among both young and veteran sicarios of Los Antrax, who were renamed Los Rusos to honor their new leader. Like his predecessor El Chino Antrax, El Ruso is an avid fan of the Real Madrid soccer team. Sources close to the Zambada family told us that Ismael Zambada Sicairos, known as El Mayito Flaco, who is currently leading the cartel under his father's guidance, places absolute trust in El Ruso. El Chino Antrax and Ivan Archivaldo Guzman had a strained relationship from the beginning. They were suspicious of each other, so Los Antrax and Los Chapitos remained adversaries. However, due to the overarching command of Sinaloa Cartel, elder leaders Ismael El Mayo Zambada and Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, a direct confrontation was avoided. The group known as Los Rusos inherited this rivalry with Los Chapitos. And with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman's extradition to the U.S., the dynamics within the Sinaloa Cartel shifted significantly. A war erupted between sicarios from the two factions of the Sinaloa Cartel, those aligned with the Zambadas and those with the Guzmans. Nestor Isidro Perez Salas, aka El Nini, the former head of security of Ivan Archivaldo Guzman, declared war on El Ruso, leading to a bloodbath in Culiacan in 2018. But the real conflict between Los Chapitos and Los Rusos began in 2019. That October, during the Battle of Culiacan, or the Culiacanazo, Ovidio Guzman, one of the Chapitos, was captured by the Mexican military. Sinaloa Cartel sicarios encircled the battalion holding Ovidio and threatened direct action against military personnel and their families unless he was released. Hundreds of Los Chapitos' sicarios blocked Culiacan's main streets, bringing the city to a standstill. Over the radio, they also called for reinforcements from the Zambada sicarios, but Los Rusos declined to support. Following that event, hostilities escalated. In retaliation, Los Chapitos began vying for control in areas where Los Rusos had established influence, such as Mexicali, Baja California, and San Luis, Sonora. During those months, El Mayo Zambada sent El Ruso to reinforce their presence in Baja California and take control of the main ports of entry to the U.S. to boost fentanyl trafficking, the business that was flourishing and financing the operations of the cartel. Los Rusos grew in power, investing drug profits in gas stations, the fishing industry, cattle ranching, transportation companies, and restaurants. The war, spanning territories bordering the U.S., wasn't solely against Los Chapitos, but also versus remnants of the Arellano Felix cartel. Mexican intelligence estimates Los Rusos consists of at least 5,000 heavily armed and well-trained sicarios. In these battles, Los Rusos have suffered many losses, and several of their lieutenants have been arrested, including David Fernando Vasquez, aka El Acelerado, captured in 2023, and Christian Alexis Mendoza, aka El Plaga, in 2022. One of Los Rusos' critical missteps involved the kidnapping and disappearance of U.S. citizens traveling to Mexicali under mysterious circumstances. El Ruso is highly sought after by U.S. federal authorities in California and Arizona. The FBI has issued him an arrest warrant under the name of Jesus Alexandro Sanchez Felix on charges of drug trafficking, money laundering, and conspiracy to take hostages. Los Rusos possess advanced military gear and weapons, which they acquire from arms traffickers in Arizona. Some of them have become confidential informants of the FBI. Mexican authorities attribute the surge in crime and disappearances in Baja California to Los Rusos, while U.S. analysts believe this group, reporting to Ismael El Mayo Zambada, handles around $30 million weekly. U.S. federal agents are pressuring their Mexican counterparts to apprehend El Ruso. His sister Xochitl was arrested in January 2024 in Mexicali, while in possession of an automatic rifle while driving an SUV. Confidential sources told us that when El Ruso feels threatened and cannot flee to Sinaloa, he takes refuge with the aid of local police in Rosarito, a beach town and popular tourist destination for Californians visiting Mexico. This is Illicit Investigations. Subscribe now to our channel to go beyond the headlines.